Hello and welcome back to my channel, Sammy's Witchcrafts. As you can see, we're still in the van as we are now in Ireland. We're in Northern Ireland at the moment, and I have to say, so far the country is just beautiful. I'm so excited to be here. The people here are just beautiful. They're just so welcoming and just so polite. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing. So in my last video I said about that I was going to be doing this video on loom knitting. They do bigger ones, but as you know, we are in a motorhome and I'm very limited in what space I can put my craft things. So I got my smallest one that I own. I think you can get even smaller ones, but I've got this size and it has 24 pins on them. This one, you can remove some of them, but I don't think I can on this one. I haven't done much loom knitting as I have so many crafts, as you all know. So I don't do this craft that often, but I've been having a go over the last couple of days, and I have to say you could get really hooked on this because it's so easy to do. It can be a little bit like crocheting at the beginning, can be a little bit all like fingers and thumbs, but once you get used to knowing how you wrap the yarn round, I'll show you what I made with this little loom. How cute is that? And it's really little. It will fit like a little dog or something, or a little doll. I don't know if I'll have to go and get him. 1 second. Here's Tunk. He's something I crocheted quite a few years ago now, but he travels around in the van, so he's got a hat already, but I just want to see if this is, sorry Tunk, I know it's purple, he doesn't like purple. That's so cute. Now with loom knitting, I've found that the double knit wool that I use has come out a little bit on the thin side. You can use a thicker wool like an Aran wool, which is a bit thicker than a double knit, or if you haven't got any Aran wool. I haven't tried this yet because, like I said, I've been traveling around and going to towns and charity shops over the last couple of days, and I did see one wool shop, but because I hadn't done it, I didn't pick any Aran wool up, which I wished I had done that because it would have come out a little bit better. I mean, it's still okay, but you can double up with your double knit. Oops, a daisy. So you can double up, which will then make the hat thicker. And I think you wouldn't get so much of the gaps like I have in this one here. So if I stretch it, you can see through it. But I'm new to this, so it's just trial and error. The only thing I've ever made using one of these loom rings is a scarf, and I still haven't finished that, but I have actually finished the hat, well, other than sewing the ends in. So what do we need to do this loom knitting? A loom. I think this has got 24 pegs on it. I can't remember if I've said that already, but 24. And I've got the ones where it's got the pin at the front as well. Some of the looms that you get don't have this at the front, but you can buy little rings that go over to show you where your starting point is, but this one's got, if you can see it, it's got the pin at the front as well. Don't know the name of it all, but I'll learn that as I get more into doing the loom knitting. And then I'm not going to do another purple one, I'm going to do a green one. So I've got a green border wool. It is double knit, so it's not going to be as thick as I'd like it to be, but this is only just to show you how to start off the loom knitting and just get you the technique. I was doing it the other day and I started it all and I dropped a stitch, so I had to undo it all. But I will learn how to try and pick up stitches as I do this loom knitting more often. I also need, which I didn't think I had with me, but I have, it's a hook. And I'll demonstrate that as I show you how to use the loom. A pair of scissors, a needle, plastic one, so it bends quite nicely as well. And I will show you, because I made this pom-pom using my fingers, but I will show you how to make a pom-pom with using a fork. So I'm bound to have forgotten something, because you know what I'm like, I always forget something. I'm going to go and set my camera up, put it all into place, and then we're going to start learning how to loom knit. How exciting. See you in a minute. So we've got our loom here, and if you can see very closely there, in here are grooves. And as I start loom knitting, you'll see what the grooves are for and the hook. So first thing we do is we get our yarn or our wool. We make a slip knot. And how I do my slip knot is wrap it over 2 fingers, so it goes over the back, make a cross, hold cross in the middle, then a long piece that's attached to the ball of wool, and then push through, and I've got a loop, and that loop goes over the pin that's on the front. Now I know it's nice and loose because I can move it up and down. Now after you do a couple of rounds, this loop here you will take off, because when you start loom knitting, as it starts going down through the ring, if you keep that on there, it will tighten it up and it will stay up the top there, and you'll end up not being able to let the stitches come down through the ring. So you get the long piece that's attached to your ball of wool. We go in between these first 2 pins here. And what you do is you put it through, and I think it's called an E-stitch. So anyone out there that does loom knitting, if this is not the right term for this stitch, please put in the comments below. So then what you do is you then put it between, bring it forward, then wrap round. Then you go to the next pin, you bring it forward through that gap there, and then wrap round that pin. And that's all you do all the way round. And like I say, it can be all fingers and thumbs at the beginning. Try not to do it too, not pull it too tight, because if you do that, you will then have trouble looping over when you come to do your stitches. So I'm going to just carry on doing these stitches. I hope you can see that okay. So you just bring it behind the next pin, wrap round, then you're going on to the next pin, wrap round, and you do that all the way round till you get back to the last pin, which is there. So I'll go slow. If it helps, put your finger on the loop that you've just made and then wrap round. As I do that, I slightly just push that down. Some people push them all the way down to the bottom. It all depends in how comfortable you find when you're doing these loops. So I'm going to carry on. Nearly to the end. And the last one. And then when you get to there, I'm just going to bring that forward just to hold it a minute, just so I can get comfortable with doing the next round. So now I'm going to do the next set of loops round the loom. And what that does is when you then come to then do the next round, you've always got to have 2 loops before you can then start your loom knitting. For this demonstration, like I say, I've only done this basic pattern, so as we go on with loom knitting, there may be other ways that you wrap the wool round the pins, but for this video I'm just showing you the basic way that I know. So where you started off at the beginning, you just carry on. So now I'll have 2 loops on my pins, so I'm just going to literally do that all the way around again. And the reason why you push them down slightly is so then you've got enough spacing at the top to do your next round. So if you can see it from that angle, I go round the back and loop round. I'm going to do that all the way back to the beginning. See, once you get into the motion of it, you can then just go around really quickly. Now we're back at the beginning, and this piece of wool here I'm going to bring down, and I'm just going to wrap it round the pin on the front. Now we get our hook, and this is when the grooves help you do this next part of the loom knitting. So you've got all your loops along the bottom, and we're going to be flipping them over the top loop. So we grab it from the bottom, my hook fits nicely in that groove, and you just slowly, it can be a little bit tough at first, pull that over. Don't worry if it's too baggy when you pull it over, because it'll all tightens up as you work the stitches. So then we go on to the next loop, up and over, grab the bottom loop, up and over, bottom loop, up and over, bottom loop, up and over, next loop, up and over, next loop, up and over. We do that all the way round to the beginning. And sometimes what I do is as I pull over, I then just bring that loop down. Let's just push them down a little bit. Just so then when you come to do your next round, it'll be easier to put your wool around the pins again. So I've got to find where there's 2 loops. So I grab that loop there and pull over, and then I push down. Next loop, up and over. Next loop, up and over. Push down. Next loop, up and over, push down. Lots of concentration again. Coming to the last 2, push that down, last one, up and over and push down. Now unwind your wool from your pin at the front now. Now if you can see, here are your stitches being made. So we've done 1 round so far. Now I've got a pad and a pen, and what I like to do is I like to just, when I've done 1 round, just write 1. So then I know that I've done 1 round. So each time I do a round, I then mark down, so then I know in how many rounds that I've done. So if I'm going to be making something, you may have to do, say, like 20 rounds or something like that. So I just like to get into the habit straight away when doing something like this to start marking it down. Because there's nothing worse in doing it and thinking, oh, I can't remember how many stitches I've done. So I've done 1 round. Where's my beginning? So now we're going to be doing round 2. So I'm just pushing down my loops, not too much. So we grab the yarn or the wool, and we're going to just do exactly the same as we did when we wrapped round to start off. But we only need to do 1 round because we always just need 2 loops on the loom. So yet again, it's just round this to the right of the pin in the middle. So we're going like anti-clockwise. So put your yarn at the back and wrap round. Wrap it round the pin. I hold the back of that one there, just so then it doesn't sort of like become too loose. And then I'm going to wrap round the next pin. And that's all you do. But we'll do a few rounds just so you can get the idea of how it works. Some people like to hold it like that when they're wrapping around the wall, but I like to hold mine at the side just so then I can see what I'm doing. And we do all that right round to, oh, did you see I'm getting quicker now? So behind the pin, wrap round. I suppose it looks like if it is an E stitch, it does look like a little bit of an E. Oh, and we're back at the beginning. So I then bring that piece of yarn, wool forward, wrap it round the pin at the front. And what that does, it just secures your piece of wool here, so then it doesn't then undo the rest of the loops on the hoop. Get your hook again. Start on the right side. I remember that because the end of the last, where you've just wrapped it round, is on the left, and then on the right is then when I start the next round. So bottom loop, up and over, and I push down. Bottom loop, up and over, push down. Up and over, and push that loop back down. It just gets me ready for the next round. Up and over, push down. 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 It's so relaxing. How you do crafts that are relaxing. Three more. 1, 2, and 3. So I undo that to then get ready for the next round. But before I do the next round, I need to write that I've now done 2 rows. So now you can see. Oh, can you hear that bird outside? That's so cute. So can you see that the stitches are beginning to form? So I'm going to do one more round, and then I'm going to then undo the little loop knot that I started at the beginning. So make sure that the wool is behind, and then we're going to go onto this pin here. So it's, make sure it's behind, wrap round, and then behind the next pin. I place my finger behind just so then I keep it secure, and wrap round. Behind and wrap round, behind and wrap round. But the more you start doing this loom knitting, you will start getting the muscle memory, and it will then just start flowing. Oh, I'm back at the beginning, I didn't realise. So then I bring, once I get to that last pin, I bring that forward and I wrap round. And again, on the right hand side here, just up that bottom loop, up and over. And as you see, when I pull that next loop, it tightens the loop before. So I don't know if you can see that, where I pull that one, it then tightens that stitch there. Oh, I haven't pushed them down. It's because I'm not concentrating. Up and over, push down. I'm getting a little bit faster now. I'm really concentrating. But this is another craft that it can be a bit of a strain on the fingers and the hands. So if you get to a stage where you think, oh, my hands are killing me, just put your work down and just give your fingers a bit of a stretch. So we're back at the beginning. I'm going to just undo the loop at the front, or unwind it I should say. Yeah, you can start seeing it forming now. But this next round, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that loop off there now, and then I'm going to just the towel. I always call the end of my work the towel, and get my hook and push that into the back, if I can grab it, and pull it through my work. And I should have the loop just there. So now you can see that if I'd carried on with that tied at the front, the rest of the stitches would have been coming through, but that would have started pulling. But it's all secure now, so it won't come undone. Just done another row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on doing this, because I think I will send you to sleep if I carry on showing you how to do that, but you get the idea now. And then what I'll do is I then will come back after I've done a few rounds. I'll see you in a bit. I've done 11 rows. You can see the pattern that it makes. So pretty. So I've got one more round that I'm going to do. Let's do this row. So we're going to wrap round again. So my yarn's here. And we just go behind and wrap over. So it's not too tight and that is not too loose. So try and keep it all at the same tension. So I hope you can see that. So just carry on going round. Oh, got my yarn too tight on my wool. We're back at the beginning. Wrap around the pin at the front, just keeps that piece of wool there nicely. And this is going to be our last round. So then I would have done 12 rounds. So you can see the stitches there now. And if I turn it over, see the stitches on that side. And what I'm going to show you is how to make the rim of the hat there, and then carry on up, and then how to cast off. What we need to do here is, this is where it can get a little bit fiddly. Where you've got your front pin here, this is the beginning of your rounds. So to make the rim of the hat, we need to pull up the middle, and where we started off, which is here, if you can see there's lines just here. So to make sure that they run in line, I run my finger on the one that we started off with, go along, let's pull it apart a little bit so we can see. So this is the one here. So at the top here, got a big loop, and I'm going to tuck that over the top of that pin. Then we go to the next stitch. So you've got like little V's here, and we grab the top and pull that over the pin so they all line up. This can be a little bit time consuming, making sure that we don't miss out any stitches. So I've got the next one, and I'll put that over the top. We work that all the way round. So where the next V is, like I said, it can be all fingers and thumbs. You can see the next loop and just place that over. Just double checking that they seem to be in line. And get the next loop and put it over the pin. Just working out. There's the next one. This took me a couple of times to get this right. If it's a little bit too high, just push your stitch down a little bit, or your loop I should say. Then where it's difficult to explain. If you can see like there's a V there, you grab the next loop. So there's the V there, and then just put that over the top. Get that piece out of the way, the tail, and we just work all the way round. Try not to overlap that loop over that loop, so don't try and pull it over. Try and keep it above the bottom loop. Just push them down slightly. it should go in between where, if you can see that, where you've got your ridges here, you're grabbing the loop that's in between here. So you're not grabbing the loop that's at the top of the stitch there, you're grabbing which is in between. And once you start going round, you'll just automatically go on to the next loop. Just making sure you don't overlap that top one over the bottom one. Like I said, it took me a couple of times to, and I first started doing this. Oh, see, I've gone over the bottom loop, push that down. So you can see that it's going to fall all into place nicely. Push that down, pull that loop over, and we're nearly at the beginning. Right, that piece of towel there, you just put it in the middle and keep it out of the way. So now they're all on the loom. I'm just going to tie the long piece of just round my pin at the front, just to keep it out of the way. And all we're going to be doing in this round is just the bottom loop up and over. And over. Some of them are a little bit tight, so just ease it over gently. If you pull it too hard and force it, that's when your bottom loop then comes off and then you've dropped a stitch. Making sure that that loop we've just put over is not underneath that other one. Up and over. Up and over. Up and over. Oh, I've not caught that properly. Up and over. Up and over, 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 that one as well. Concentrating, and the last one. Whoa, that went a bit. Just correct that by pulling that, because that's the stitch from this last round. It looks quite sweet. Now this is what's going to be making, and if I've done it correctly, which I'm hoping I have, if I haven't I'll have to undo it all again, is they're going to carry on the rest of the hat. So I think I might do another 12. I'll see how it looks because I'm not following the pattern, I'm just doing this all off the top of my head in this little hat. I've watched someone make one of these hats, but I didn't know how many rounds they did, so I'm just sort of just guessing really. So, but the first lot I've done 12, so now I think I might try and see what it looks like doing another 12. But if I think as the hat goes down, it might be 10, it could be 14, I don't know. We'll have to see. So yeah, again, all you do is we just carry on like we did before. So we go to the right hand side and we just go behind and wrap round. Let's go behind, wrap round. Because I've got a nice tension, as I go on to the next pin, I'm not having to hold the looping before. If you're just starting out and it comes undone, just place your finger behind and it just helps it stay there. Oh, I'm getting my yarns. I've got my yarn stuck under my leg. I don't have tight yarn, as it will affect your stitches. And we're back at the beginning. Wrap that round your pin at the front. And we'll just carry on like we have with the other rounds. So bottom over top, bottom over top. And we're back at the beginning. This is what I like about this small one. Before you know it, you're back at the beginning. So you can't really tell at the moment, but so far so good. It looks like it's all in line. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a couple of rounds, but I'm going to time lapse it rather than me sitting here. It's just then we can see what the join looks like at the bottom and the top of that ridge there. So I've just done 4 rounds. Well, I think I did, because I forgot to mark them down as I finished each round. So with what I can count and see. But if you can see there, you can see where the join is from when I've tucked that under and then started looming the bottom part of the hat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to carry on doing my rounds, and then I'll come back to the end and I will show you how to cast off. So I've carried on going round. I've done 11 rounds, so I'm going to just do my 12th one. But that's how it's connected, like this. I've got all them in lines as well, so I'm really pleased with that, and it's not crossed over. So go from the back round the front and loop round. So coming to the last few, and And that's all our 12 rounds. So now we're going to cast off. So what we need to do is just wrap our wool just round the loom. You can do it sort of like, I don't do it completely round twice, I just do it sort of like round and a bit more. We get our scissors, snip, get rid of the ball of wool, and then we thread our yarn into our needle. And where your loops are, you put your hook, not your hook, your needle into your first loop. Then you hook that over. Go to the next loop, pull your needle through without catching the other pins, and hook that loop over. So underneath the loop, and hook that loop off your needle underneath the loop, and then take the loop off the loom. So underneath the loop, pull it through, and then loop off of the loom. You do that all the way round. Don't worry if there's big loops, because it'll all come together at the end. So I'm going to carry on going round. It's a bit of a time lapse now. So I'm coming to the last 2 loops now. When you're doing this, just make sure that you're not going to, as you bring that loop up and over, not to bring up the loop that's next to it. And in the last one, pull that up, take that off, and there's your little bobble hat. And all you do now is the piece that you've just cast off, you can now just pull that, and it will catch and close the top. Then just not going through that loop there, but carry on going round and just thread them through, pulling it as you do it. This then just secures the hole at the top. what I do is I then push my needle not in the middle, just at the top, but in between your stitches. And then I push that through, and then I turn the hat inside out, giving it a little pull, and then I just thread them through again, just because then you're securing that hole closed. Hasn't got to be neat. But just doing it a few times just to make sure that it's not going to come undone. And then I then just make a loop, pull through that loop just to get secure the knot. Do one more. Put it tight, and then with your scissors, snip. And you've made a little hat. Then with the tail at the beginning, I then just sew in, just catch it through. I just go round not to pull it too tight, and then just give it a snip. And we have a little hat. I'll show you how to make a little pom-pom with using a fork. So what we need to make this pom-pom using a fork is a fork, a pair of scissors and some wool. So the first part that we need to do is take a length of wool. You've got to have a fork that's got the it's got 4 prongs on it. So you then place your piece of yarn, wool, in the middle, then get the end of your ball of wool, and then this can be, yet again, fingers and thumbs. And all we're going to do is we've placed it across there, and we're going to just wind. Once you've caught the bit at the beginning, you can then let go, and you just keep, oops, wrapping round. I don't count, I just go round and round and round and round and round and round and round. And then we snip, and then the piece you put at the beginning, tie in the middle. So you bring it up and you tie in the middle. Now hopefully I'm not going to snap the wool. You've got to do it pretty tight, so just be careful when you, I might need some assistance here. JP, can I just use your finger? Just put your finger. Thank you. That's it. Thank you very much. Thank you for that, for your help.
Got some uses.
Then pull it off the fork slowly. Now I then try and put it round again. But sometimes you may find that the bit you've just knotted may become a little bit baggy, but let's just try not to snap. There we go. Then we find the loops, making sure I'm not going to cut through the bit I've just tied up, and then just slowly cut. Now, yet again, this was something that I had to do a few times because I didn't do it tight enough in the middle. Try not to go too deep at first, because if you do that you can't cut through. Should have had a longer bit of yarn there, but not to worry. Just guiding the scissors just to see if there's any more loops there to snip. Try not to pull through too much, because you may pull the loop through. So that's one side done. It's a little bit out of shape at the moment. And then we snip the other side. You need quite a strong pair of scissors for cutting these, because a couple of times I've cut a pom-pom and bent my scissors. Just guiding the point of my scissors. Give a bit of a rolly round, then I hold. I think I've got them all. I think I've got the loops. Now the trick with making a nice pom-pom is you need to fluff the wool up. I've got myself a tray, and then I just snip round cutting off the excess bits. But like I said, the trick of a pom-pom is once you start cutting, I've got to be a little bit careful because I haven't tightened the middle up this one very well, so it may come undone. But you keep slipping round. And you try and get the fibres of the end of the pom-pom, try and sort of get them to come apart, and that's when you can then start getting a bit of a velvety look on your pom-pom. But it can take ages. This is just a quick demonstration how this all works. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. I've got to do it all again. Right, so I'm going to make another pom-pom. As you just see, the one that I've just made has just fallen apart. I didn't tighten the middle up tight enough, so... But anyway, let's start again. Right, I'm going to get a nice length this time because I realised that I didn't have enough wool for when I wanted to then put it into the hat. I didn't have enough, so let's do another one. Hopefully this one won't come apart. So we put the length of wool back into the book, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to now carry on wrapping this up and we'll start again. In fact, I'm going to put 2 pieces. Hopefully this time when I tie the knot I'll be able to tighten it a little bit tighter. So here we go. Time lapse. Right. Here we go again. Let's get rid of that. So I'll put that through the middle of the prongs, and then I'm going to tie a knot and hopefully make it a little bit tighter. JP, can I have your finger again, please? That's it, press down quite hard for me. Thank you. I've not got your finger, have I? Thank you. Thank you very much. Is it still tight enough? And then pull that off the end. And then I'm going to bind. Wrap that round like that. Wrap that round like so. And then I'm going to pull that through and then put it through there. Just put that through there. Hopefully this time it'll work. I just don't want it to snap on me. Can I use your finger again, please? Just there. Thank you. Press down hard. That's it. Thank you very much. Now, hopefully, I've caught it tight enough this time. And here we go. Time lapse. Right, cutting very slowly. Try not to pull the middle out. Right, as I was saying about making a real fluffy pom-pom. Right, let's get me tray. Snip off what I don't need. Be very careful this time because I really don't want to have to do it again. It's not the roundest of pom-poms, but it's just to give you an idea. And you can make a small pom-pom. I will take a bit of time later in rounding this off, but it's just to give you an idea of how to make a quick pom-pom. Sometimes you're best just when you're doing a small one like this is getting some, it doesn't have to be the same colour, but getting some like nylon, cotton, so then you can give it a real good pull. I'm just snipping very carefully not to pull that middle out. But if you see, if you fluff it up a little bit, the end of the wall starts opening. It's not a perfect circle, or ball I should say, but I don't want it to come apart. I mean, if you're making a hat for someone, I'd suggest making a pom-pom the old-fashioned way. I mean, you can buy special things now that you can make a pom-pom, but using the two pieces of circled cardboard together. But if you just snip like finely on the top, it then starts opening up, and that's when you then get the velvety type pom-pom. But I could sit here for hours just trimming these pom-poms. That will do for now. It's not the best, but it gives you an idea. I'm just going to roll very gently because I don't want to pull it apart. And then when you've done that and you think, ooh, no, there's a few bits. I mean, it's not... But I could be here all day doing that, so I'm not going to carry on. I'm going to just show you now my mist-shaped pom-pom and how I attach it to the hat. To put my needle through the centre of the hat and pull that through. And then we're just going to sew the pom-pom to the hat, just roughly. And hopefully not pull it apart. Well, it is a bobble hat, isn't it? So it's got a bobble about. There and pull through. Yeah, that's got it this time. Just a couple of sew throughs. Pull that through there. And like I said, it's a funny shaped pom-pom. But there's my hat. I'm going to go and sort that out because it's a little bit of a funny shape. So that is how you make a bobble hat using a loom ring. Me bobble's a little bit better than I sat there snipping away, and you end up with just all this fluff. I better get rid of it because it'll just go everywhere. And anyway, I put a couple of pictures up that I've got a little model that's showing the little bobble hat. It looked quite cute in it. Might need to make him a little bigger one though. But yeah, I'll put up here some photographs. He wasn't impressed, but he looked cute. So yeah, get yourself a loom. So this size loom makes this size hat. I think if I was to make a hat for somebody, I'd definitely either use like a Aran wool, or I would double up because it is a little bit see-through. But I think JP wants me to make him a hat now. And yes, Andre, I will make you a hat, because I know that'd be the first question or the first comment you'll put, where's mine? So now I know how to do it, but I can't make it just yet. Like I've still got to do Andre's spider. But yeah, I've got bigger ones at home, so when I go home I will be making a few family members a bobble hat. Anyway, I think that's it. Oh, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Give me a comment, as I love reading them. And I love to think about what crafts I can do next. I might do a little bit of zen drawing, because I do like to do the zen drawing. I didn't know whether to take it up maybe to the next level in maybe drawing something. I'll have a little practice in what I can do that I think people will enjoy. Anyway, I think that's it. You all take care, and don't forget, Sammy, which craft shall we do next? Let me know in the comments if there's any other ideas that you think, oh, I'd like her to show me that. I think it's finally stopped raining because it started raining earlier. And that's about it. You'll take care and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.